So, a while back, I needed some help from American Express's customer service. And I think American Express is generally known for having very good customer service. Now, I don't know if there's probably other like more elite credit cards that have more elite customer service. I don't know. But typically, my experience with them has been pretty good. And so I called in, I needed some help with something. And then they did a great job. They took care of everything. They made it easy. They got me. They sped things up for me because I had some time issues or some needs around speediness, and it was great. And she looked at my she obviously looked at my profile or whatever to, or maybe it popped up for her, but she kind of recognized how long I'd been one of her customers and all that stuff, and it was just a great experience. And then afterwards, they sent me a survey and asking, how likely we were to recommend them, and also asking what we did well, what they did well, and so there were three options for things that they could have done well. That they were asking, which of these things had they done well, or whatever, and looking at those options, I'm like, well, if this is what they're using as their metric for customer service, it's no wonder that they have good customer service. So here are the three things: make things simple and easy, know and value me, own and solve my issues. So now, say we flip these around, we have some idea on what the negative would be of all these positives, right? So one thing that you hate when you call in to get customer service, right, is if they make things complicated. It's like, okay, yes, we'll give you a refund, but first you've got to jump through 20 hoops. It's like, oh my goodness, can't you just solve this problem for me, right? So make things simple and easy. Awesome. All right, know and value me. Now, that's probably something that we don't think about so much when we call in. We're not like thinking, oh, I hope they really value me and know me. But still, that is one of the perks of doing business with small companies, right? Is that oftentimes, if you have a good relationship with that small business that you're working with, they know who you are, and you feel like you'll be treated fairly because they know and recognize who you are, and the way that you've frequented their business and whatever, however the relationship is, you expect you can be treated along those similar lines. And so when a large company takes a little bit of time and effort to acknowledge the relationship that you have with them as a customer, it helps to. It's nice. Everybody likes to feel seen, I think, and that's not something that I necessarily typically think about as being something that I would expect to get from a customer service interaction, but it is possible to do. So that's very cool. And then the other one is own and solve my issues. So this one, if it doesn't happen, can be really frustrating. So I've had issues with phone service already, where maybe I switched to a new phone or switched providers or whatever. And so you go to the old provider and they're like, this issue you're having, it's not our problem. You have to contact the new provider. You go to the new provider, they're like, yeah, it's not our problem. You have to go to the old provider. Those kinds of things are just incredibly frustrating as a consumer. And so the opposite of that is when the company owns and solves the issue for you, right? So it's both like, yes, this is our issue that we're going to take care of for you. It's our issue and we're going to take care of it. Even if in some cases, it may be in some sense a false ownership, right? Because maybe the customer created the issue, if you will. Which to some extent was the case for me calling. I needed a new card and I'd gotten rid of the old one, I think. And so I had created that issue essentially, but they were like, sure, no, they'll FedEx me a new card or whatever. And obviously they want me to actually use a card and be able to have me as an active customer, right? But still, it was they did a pretty amazing job of like all three of those categories, making things simple and easy for me, knowing and valuing me, and owning and solving my issues. So I had a great experience with them. Does that mean that I think that credit card use for the average Joe is a smart person? Not necessarily. I've mostly sworn off credit card use, actually. But in that case, when I needed their help, they were really great. And so the feeling I have about American Express is mostly a positive one, I would say. Even though I don't use them much in typical life, um, they did really well in their customer service. And if I need something in the future, I'm not worried that I won't be able to contact them and get some help with my issues. So anyway, those are three things that you can learn from American Express, how they service their customers.